Miguel, we hebben een nieuwe e-mail. Er is weer een bedrijf dat met ons wil samenwerken.
What?
Wat? Versta je me niet?
Yeah, what did you say? Let me get my Translator earbuds here. What was that?
We hebben een nieuw bedrijf dat met ons wil samenwerken. Een gesponsorde video.
Oh, we have a sponsor for this video. We will tell you more about them later. It is Timekettle, and it's these translation earbuds, but we'll talk about that later in the video. I've been making content about China for the last 10 years in some form or another, and two things always come up. One, foreigners that have never traveled to China think that China is not very advanced, and two, foreigners think that China can't innovate. Both of these assumptions are wrong. China is now one of the most advanced countries in the world in terms of technology implementation in its major cities, and Chinese tech companies are now leading the world in many industries like drones, electric vehicles, e-commerce, and digital payments, to name a few areas. In this video, I want to show you that China is more advanced than you might think and introduce you to the tech sponsor of this video. I will also talk with Yvonne later to show you how the Timekettle translation earbuds work. When I moved to China in 2010, most of the tech was pretty average and not that advanced. But fast forward 13 years to 2023, and China is leading many tech sectors. Take drones, for example. DJI is the most advanced commercial drone manufacturer in the world. DJI was founded in 2006, and over the next decade created the drone market. By 2016, it was clear that DJI was the market leader, and the company was well respected in the film, hobby, and tech sectors. Now, drones are used in many different industries, from farming to filming. DJI drones are known all over the world, and it is a good example of Chinese innovation. Another good example that we see every day in China is transportation. There are a few different types of transportation that I want to show you. First are shared bikes. This concept isn't unique to China, but based on the population size of major cities, it is more effective here. If you've watched any videos about China, you have probably seen these bikes in use or on the streets. It combines the internet, QR codes, apps, satellite positioning, and digital payments to provide a service that allows users to unlock and ride bikes anywhere in the city or country. The same technologies are used here for e-bikes and cars. Here in China, you can rent an e-bike or even a car with just an app. Again, these services aren't only in China, but it does show how advanced Chinese cities are compared to the rest of the world. China also has amazing trains connecting most of the cities and subway systems, allowing people to get around within the cities. There are a ton of videos about China's train system, and I have even showcased it in the past, which means I won't go into a ton of detail here, but if you want to see some of the most advanced systems in the world, check out China's trains and metros. Other than transportation, Chinese companies like WeChat and Alibaba are pioneers in digital payments and e-commerce. QR code payments were first used widespread in China before other countries started to adopt digital payments like Apple Pay. There are many reports about Apple, Facebook, and Amazon looking at Chinese tech innovation and copying or adopting similar processes. Even now, YouTube and Instagram are copying TikTok. Taobao and JD are two major e-commerce sites in China, and they are leading the way in online shopping. They have come up with innovative ways to purchase products online, from live streaming to creating entire shopping holidays. Alibaba, the parent company of Taobao, has helped build out the e-commerce sector in China to the world's largest, and Alibaba is now worth over 237 billion US dollars. Another good example of innovation is WeChat. When I first moved to China, WeChat wasn't even created yet. But within 10 years of the app's creation, it took over the Chinese market. I now use WeChat every day for everything. This app allows users to do everything from booking hotels and plane tickets and train tickets and movie tickets to online shopping, paying utilities, food deliveries, and everyday payments in stores. This app is insane. I don't have to leave my house anymore because of the convenience of WeChat and Taobao. I can literally order everything to my door. WeChat at its core is a communication app. It can send messages, translate documents, and send files, but over time it has evolved into something much greater. Now it is almost impossible to get around China without WeChat. And speaking of translations and getting around China, I want to introduce you to this video's sponsor, Timekettle. Timekettle is a tech company that focuses on language products. They sent Yvonne and I their WT2 Edge Translator earbuds and asked us to test the product. According to the company, the earbud can translate 40 different languages online and 8 languages offline with up to 95% accuracy. The app has been downloaded over 50,000 times on Google Play, which means these earbuds are pretty popular. They specifically asked us to try the simultaneous mode, so let me grab Yvonne and we will talk about a really cool tech experience we had here in Beijing while testing these earbuds. So, as you guys know, Yvonne speaks Dutch. That's her native language.
Yes,
so
I'm from the Netherlands. I grew up speaking Dutch and I learned English in school and, well, actually improved it when we started dating
and eventually got married.
Yes.
So we're going to speak, we're going to do the translation from Dutch to English because that's our native languages. So we want to see how well this translation works. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. I have the app set up. I have my earbud in. So we're going to continue to talk about technology, yeah, and we have an interesting story that Yvonne's going to start. So why don't you go ahead and start? Let me hit start. And so the app here will translate everything for us. So let's go ahead and talk about that.
Ik ga het hebben een beetje over Baidu. Een tijd geleden, toen werden we uitgenodigd om naar het hoofdkwartier van Baidu te komen hier in Beijing om hun driverless, bestuurloze, nee, ze zijn niet bestuurloos, auto's zonder bestuurder uit te testen.
Right, so it's translating. It takes a little bit of time that I'm noticing, but it is translating it. What she said is that we went to Baidu not too long ago, like last year, to have a test drive in their driverless cars, their autonomous cars. So tell us a little bit about what we did when we were there.
Maar ik ga nu reageren op wat je zegt, want ik heb nog helemaal niks... Oh, nu hoor ik pas de vertaling. Ja, we werden uitgenodigd om naar Baidu te gaan. En we kregen een rondleiding door het hele gebouw. En hun geschiedenis, hoe ze zijn ontstaan. En uiteindelijk na een rondleiding door het gebouw. En na alles te hebben gezien van hoe ze... Want ze hebben ook kaarten natuurlijk waar je dus... waar je zeg maar je route op kunt bepalen om te zien hoe ver je gaat. En ze hadden heel veel informatie bij, waar het druk is bijvoorbeeld. En dat was heel interessant om te zien. En uiteindelijk gingen we in een auto zonder bestuurder. Maar wel met een beveiliger, een iemand erbij.
Okay, yeah, so you were saying that we went around the building to see some of the history of Baidu, and then at the end we got into the autonomous cars.
Yeah.
Which is so we're trying this. As you can see, we're a little bit hesitant because it takes some time to actually start the translation. But seems to be working.
Ja, het werkt wel aardig. De vertaling is best goed. Echt, ja. Ik kan niet praten en luisteren tegelijk. Ja, de vertaling is behoorlijk goed. Het duurt alleen een beetje lang voordat je de vertaling binnenkrijgt. Dus ik denk dat je in korte niet te veel moet zeggen tegelijk.
Yeah, you shouldn't say, the last thing that just translated is you shouldn't say too much at once. So you should have shorter questions or shorter statements so that it gives it time to translate. Overall, I would say, they say it's 95% accurate.
Okay.
I'm looking at the actual, because it also translates it into the different languages on your phone so you can read it. And I'm reading the English translation. They say 95%. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm sure they've tested it. Some of it I'm seeing is definitely inaccurate. But again, it's also based on how we're speaking and how well it is actually picking up the words. So I mean, this is an interesting product. Obviously, it's useful for people if you want to have conversations with somebody. Like, for example, Yvonne's mother is Dutch, obviously, because she's Dutch. And so I could speak with her using these if I wanted to have a more in-depth conversation. Her mother can speak Dutch. My mother-in-law can speak English, but it's not like native level. So this could be an opportunity for us to have a deeper conversation if we wanted that.
Ja, ik denk dat het redelijk... Ja, 95% is misschien een beetje hoog. Want ik lees nu het Nederlands en dat zijn wel een beetje een rare vertaling. Maar goed, misschien komt dat door het Nederlands, want niet zoveel mensen spreken Nederlands. Dus misschien is deze minder ontwikkeld.
Yeah. So there's lots of other people that have done. I'm going to take it out because it's still translating and it's a little confusing when you're thinking. But a lot of other people have done videos about these earbuds. Obviously, this is just a little integration. So if you wanted to see a real review, go check that out. I also have links in the description down below if you want to see how much this product costs. And if you want to go to their website to find out more about who they are.
Check it out for yourself. You can check out the links in the description.
Yeah, definitely check it out if this seems like something that would be useful to you. And we want to say a big thank you to Timekettle for sponsoring this video because, you know, it obviously helps us as a channel.
Yeah.
So let's jump back into talking about autonomous cars. And I want to give a little bit of my experience because I had a pretty cool experience down in Shenzhen. And I'll also talk a little bit more about the experience that we had with Baidu. So like Yvonne and I were saying, one of the coolest tech things we've ever done is riding in autonomous cars. These driverless cars are pretty interesting and are most likely the future of transportation. Yvonne and I had the opportunity to ride in the Apollo cars by Baidu, but unfortunately that was on a closed loop around their headquarters in Beijing. I actually had the chance to ride in a driverless car on the road in Shenzhen last summer. It was really interesting to see the car navigate through traffic and stop at lights. Again, this technology is not unique to China, but Chinese companies are investing and innovating in this industry. There are only a handful of self-driving taxi services in the world, and China is on the forefront of this technology. Finally, I want to talk about consumer electronics. Depending on where you live and how your country trades with China will greatly determine how you feel about these next few brands. I'm talking about Huawei, Xiaomi, DJI, Vivo, Oppo, and Haier, just to name a few. I already talked a little bit about DJI, so let's focus on the other consumer electronic brands. About 2 years ago, I visited the headquarters of Huawei in Beijing, and I was impressed to see all the different types of products the company is making for their domestic and international markets. We all know about the Huawei sagas, but despite the difficulties, Huawei is still one of the largest smartphone and telecommunications equipment manufacturers in the world. Xiaomi, Vivo, and Oppo are also on the list of top 10 smartphone brands in the world, each selling millions of units each year. Brands like Xiaomi, Huawei, and Haier also sell other consumer electronics like household appliances, TVs, and more. Xiaomi is extremely popular in India for their smartphones, but domestically they have become somewhat of a lifestyle brand. They make phones, smartwatches, vacuums, scooters, speakers, heaters, TVs, cameras, air purifiers, computers, kitchen appliances, and more. Overall, there are many Chinese tech companies that are providing goods and services domestically and internationally, but because many foreigners haven't traveled to China or aren't aware of the contribution Chinese companies make to final products, it is easy for people to say Chinese companies aren't innovative or that China isn't very advanced. Leave a comment below to let me know some of the other tech companies that you think are more advanced and that people should know about. I really hope that in the future people will take the time to learn more about global supply chains and how Chinese companies are contributing to the overall tech industry. I'm also happy for sponsors like Timekettle that are helping people communicate with each other because communication is key to understanding different people and cultures. So be sure to check the links below if you want to know more about the WT2 Edge, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Okay, so I'm actually using the speaker mode now, and so I'm speaking into this and it's going to translate it into Chinese. This is just some extra bonus footage to show you how it works. We're in a coffee shop right now, so I'm going to go over to the waitress, the counter, and order some coffee. Most of the time you do it with scanning now, but I'm going to ask her if she has oat milk and see if she understands, and then hopefully she can speak back to me. Mayo, okay. You don't have it. Do you have anything else besides milk?